everyone, let's talk about some percent change. Alright, so percent change in general is the difference over the original. And this works when you're given two amounts. So here are two amounts. Well, let's do some math together. Okay, so we have 82 milligrams becomes 38 milligrams. Okay, first of all, is this an increase or a decrease? I'm going to start off by giving it a D for decrease because 82 to 38, that's getting smaller. Okay. Next, I'm going to find the difference between 82 and 38. That's 44. Next, I'm going to take the difference. I don't know why I just wrote 48. That was bizarre. 44, and I'm going to divide it by the original amount, which is 82. When you enter that into your calculator, what you should get is 536. Yes, 536. I just needed to double check. Now, that's a decimal. It's not a percent. In order to turn this decimal into a percent, we're going to move the decimal twice to the right. So we have a 53.6% decrease. All right. Next, we have from 9.2 feet to 9.7 feet. I would like to avoid negatives, so I'm going to label this right away as an increase, and I'm going to do 9.7 minus 9.2. So I'm not really going in the order which it was listed. I'm doing larger minus smaller, and I'm recognizing the fact that it's increasing right off the bat. All right, so that gives us a 0.5. We take that 0.5, we're going to divide it by the original, so 9.2, and we get 0.054. Move the decimal twice to the right, and we have a, 5.4% increase. Beautiful. Next, 250 to 100, I'm going to write D for decrease. That's price getting smaller. I'm going to take the larger number minus the smaller number, so that's 150. I'm going to take 150, that difference, and divide it by the original price, which is 250, and we get 0.6. Now I still need to move the decimal twice to the right. There's nothing next to the 6. And the number that we use to represent nothing is a 0. So here we have a 60% decrease. Now that's a heck of a sale, I'd say. All right, lastly, 2,000 to 2,500. That's an increase. I'm going to write that down, and I'm going to take the larger number and then subtract the smaller number from it. Okay, so that gives us 500. So 500 over our original, 2,500. No, our original is not 2,500. Oh my, I'm glad I caught that mistake before I entered into my calculator. Over 2,000, the original is 2,000. We get 0.25. Move the decimal, 25% increase. Okay, beautiful. So that's how we find percent change when we're given two quantities. But now, let's use something that you're going to be using percents on for forever, and that's shopping. All right, whether it's for super stylish, hard to walk in shoes, or if it's for, groceries, toilet paper, the usual. You're going to always have percents involved. Not because there's always going to be a discount, unfortunately, but mostly because there's sales tax. Anything you buy in Illinois has a sales tax on it. So you buy clothes, there's a sales tax, there's a food tax, and etc., etc., etc. So everything is different. Different sales tax on those. If you're curious, look it up. There are some states that don't have sales tax on certain items, which is pretty cool. But not in Illinois, where we're at right now. Anyways, let's find the final price of this item. Okay, we have this pair of super stylish hard to walk in shoes for $300, and they initially have a discount of $15%. Okay, well, if we're discounting 15%, how much percent are we paying for? Well, 100% is as much percent as you can get, and I'll subtract 15% from it. That leaves us with 85%. So really, I'm paying 85% of 300. I'm going to write that down. 85% of 300. Now, recall back and think. What operation does the word of represent? Of represents multiplication. So I'm going to do 85% times 300. Now, this will be easy to do in your calculator, but first, we must turn 85% into a decimal. The percent symbol is just used as a representation. In order to turn from a percent to a decimal, we go to wherever the decimal is, or if you don't see one, that will be the end of the number, and we're going to move it over twice to the left. So before turning it into a percent, we move twice to the right. Now we're going the opposite direction. So 0.85 times 300. All right, let's plop that into our calculator. Wow, that's a nice discount. $255 for these super stylish hard to walk in shoes. Not something I'd buy, but you know, everyone has their own thing. All right. So now we're set on buying the super stylish hard to walk in shoes because they're $255. Heck yeah. But when we get to the counter, there's going to be a sales tax applied. The way that sales tax gets applied is we add on 6.25% of $255. Okay. Again, I'm going to write this down. 6.25% of $255 and the $255 that we're paying just originally. All right. We discussed just previously that of means multiplication. So we're going to be multiplying by 255. We're going to change the 6.25% into a decimal and move it over twice. When we have an empty spot, we put a 0. So we're doing 0.0625 times 255. That's 6.25% of 255. Then we have the word and, which is addition, 255. Okay. Now it just takes 2 steps. We're first going to multiply. So here we get not really a good number, but 15.9375. I know we don't really get that into it with decimals on dollars, so we will round momentarily. So this $15 and what, like 94 cents? I'm going to change it to 94 cents. That's how much tax you're paying on the shoes. That's so much. Okay, and then we're going to add that to 255. And you end up paying a total of $270.94. Okay. You're still saving money, right? But dang, that's a lot of money to pay for shoes. Okay. I hope this was helpful. Let's move on to one final problem about percent changes. Okay. In 1995, there were 2,200 students in School A. Sorry, I wasn't that creative today. In 2005, so 10 years later, there were 3,400 students at school A. Let's find the percent increase. Okay, so that's similar to the problems we did in the beginning. First, we need to find the difference. So we're going to do 3,400 minus 2,200. Now, it already states that we're increasing, so we don't have to identify that. All right, so 3,400 minus 2,200 is 1,200. Okay. And then we're going to do 1,200, so that difference, over the original. So we started off in 1995 with 2,200. Now we get 0.545. All right, so let's move the decimal over twice. 54.5% increase. Cool. All right, not too bad. Let's move on to the second portion. If the amount of students increases by the same percentage over the next 10 years, what is the probable enrollment in school A for school A in 2015? Okay, so let's see. We want to find 54.5% of 2005, so 3,400 students, and the original. Oh, I wrote the plus sign instead of and. Darn. Okay, well, let's find 54.5% of the original 3,400. First, we're going to turn this into a decimal by moving this one over twice. The word of means multiplication. Okay, so let's find that percent increase that's going to happen. So 0.545 times 3,400. That's an increase of 1,853 students. So, by 2015, there should be 5,253 students. I don't know why I won't scroll down. Oh, that's so ugly. Okay. I say okay a lot, and I just annoyed myself with it. Anyways, this was a pretty long video, but I hope you found it helpful. If you're one of my students, hi, I miss you terribly. And if you're not, I probably would miss you too. Anyways, have a good rest of whatever day it is. I'll see you next time.